What is going on, my YouTube friends? It is Trevor coming at you from the Tesla and FSD mode yet again. And I am here to talk to you yet again about a very controversial stock, one of the most controversial stocks in the entire stock market, MSTR, everyone's favorite stock on this channel. I don't know if it's everyone's favorite, but we like it, all right? We like the MSTR. So, you guys, if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. I talk about MSTR, Tesla, Google, AI, NVIDIA, crypto, robotics, all sorts of stocks like that on a daily basis. And I try to bring you guys breaking news so we can all kind of hopefully make a lot of money together in the long term, right? It's a long-term investing channel. I don't try to make a lot of short-term predictions on this channel. Maybe every once in a while, but yeah, like I said, subscribe if you're interested in anything like that, as well as let me know below what your Bitcoin price targets are for the end of the year. I'm very interested, as well as like the video if you don't mind. Okay, so let's get into the video. MSTR stock. Okay, we had some pretty big news. I made a couple videos yesterday about the JP Morgan news, right, which is a huge deal, where Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan have basically, it completely flipped. You know, they already had a position in IBIT, the BlackRock ETF, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, but now they've increased their holdings of this ETF by 64%, right? And they came out with a price prediction of 170 million to 200 million for Bitcoin within 6 to 12 months, which is like massive, because like I said in yesterday's video, JP Morgan Chase is one of the largest banking institutions in the world, if not the largest. It's gigantic. So yeah, it's a big deal. That being said, something else happened yesterday that I wasn't aware of. I wanted to tell you guys about it. It just so happens that coincidentally, Jim Chanos also exited his short position on MSTR, right? And Jim Chanos, if you're not familiar with the guy, he's a notorious short seller of stocks that he finds to be overvalued, right? And so now he has, like I said, essentially completely got out of his short position. This Mustang beside me wants to race, but he doesn't want the smoke. My Tesla will be 5.0s every single day off the line, and for like quarter miles. There's no comparison. Anyway, hopefully he leaves me alone, because he looked like he was trying to challenge me. Anyway, Jim Chanos, okay, he is notorious short seller, completely exited his position, right? So I believe he probably exited his position around 230, 240, 225. I don't know, but I think it's indicative. You know, I think it's just so funny that coincidentally, Jim Chanos, one of the most notorious short sellers in the world, exits his short position on MSTR the exact same day Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan issue their price target for Bitcoin and reveal that they have increased their exposure to IBIT, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, by 64%. It's like, what do all these people that have these gigantic networks, you know, that probably collaborate together, what do they know that we don't know, right? And at the end of the day, we kind of do know, right? And I keep saying it on my channel over and over and over again, that I think that the writing is on the wall for Bitcoin specifically, and Ethereum as well. Solana maybe, you know, but like Bitcoin and Ethereum, those two, I really believe that the writing is absolutely just on the wall for them to dominate and for them to change the financial markets as we know them. You know what I mean? It's like, I think Tesla's going to change the physical world with Robotaxi, with Optimus, and there's plenty of other, you know, companies out there that are building their own humanoid robotics, right? And attempting to solve for full self-driving vehicles, essentially trying to disrupt the labor market, right? So I think what I'm getting at is, like, Tesla's one of the companies that I think is going to change the world physically, right? Whether it be energy, stationary battery storage, stationary energy storage, like I said, full self-driving cars, Optimus bot. But I believe that Bitcoin and Ethereum, specifically those two, will change the financial system as we know it, right? And with respect to that, that could have like serious implications in everyday life as well. Maybe you can't like tangibly touch a Bitcoin, right? But it could affect everything you do. You know, for all we know, one day we could be getting paid in Bitcoin, kind of like NFL players a few years ago said they wanted to get paid in Bitcoin, right? For all we know, one day we can get paid in Bitcoin, you know? We're already able to like buy things at Walmart with Bitcoin using OnePay, right? Amazon's looking into, you know, crypto specialists, and I'm sure you're eventually gonna be able to buy stuff on Amazon with your crypto holdings, you know? And There's now new news from a couple weeks ago where institutions are allowing other institutions to use their Bitcoin as collateral for loans, right? So what I'm saying is I think the writing is on the table. And with MSTR being the pioneer of the crypto treasury company, specifically Bitcoin treasuries, it's really hard not to be very, very bullish on MSTR, right? And like I said, I think it's very indicative that of something in the near term changing substantially for Bitcoin, which also changes substantially for MSTR. Because like I said a million times, Bitcoin news is MSTR news. And it's absolutely crazy to think about that Michael Saylor and MSTR have now aligned themselves with Bitcoin so much that if there's some sort of revolutionary thing that comes out in the future where, let's say, Amazon accepts Bitcoin, or Tesla accepts Bitcoin for their cars, or Google does something big with Bitcoin, or Meta does, or the writing's on the wall, right? I talked about the other day how Robinhood is going to start potentially accumulating Bitcoin and putting it on their balance sheet, right? It's there's just a couple moves. Apple, right? Apple could be, in the process of doing something with Bitcoin integrated into their business model, right? Microsoft. So it's just a couple little moves. Saudi Arabia, they got all the oil money. What are they going to do with all of that? So it's just, it's cool because you can just wake up on a Saturday, and the whole stock market's closed, right? It closes Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Okay. And it doesn't open again until 7 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. That's when it opens again, right? So it's every other stock, you can basically, maybe some news comes out about it, but you won't see any change in the price, right? And the same way with MSTR. But at the same time, you can basically check to see what MSTR's price is going to be based upon what Bitcoin's price is. It eliminates all of the uncertainty about quarterly earnings reports, which is what I've talked about before as well. It's all of the uncertainty is baked into Bitcoin. It's not baked into MSTR. MSTR is one of the most transparent companies in the world, And if you think that Michael Saylor and what he's doing with preferred stock and how he's over leveraged or whatever, right? You think he's a con man? I challenge you. Just go to ChatGPT, go to Gemini, go to Grok, right? Go to one of these LLMs. Ask it if they think Michael Saylor's a con man. Ask him if they think it's a Ponzi scheme that Michael Saylor's done with MicroStrategy, right? And it'll tell you exactly what a Ponzi scheme is. And because I've done this before, I've literally looked it up, right? ChatGPT is certain that it's not a Ponzi scheme. And it does outline the potential risks to MSTR. And the potential risks to MSTR only come about with a prolonged decrease in Bitcoin, right? And a prolonged extreme decrease. Let me clarify that, right? Extreme decrease. So we're talking, if you look it up on ChatGPT, it says Bitcoin has to go to about 10,000, 15,000 for a long time, over a year, a long time. And then you could potentially see MicroStrategy have to sell some of its Bitcoin holdings, everything kind of go up in shambles, right? So if you do believe that Bitcoin's going to go to 10 or 15K for years, and it's just going to have this total drought, no one's going to be interested in buying Bitcoin, no one's going to be interested in holding it, okay, MSTR might not be your cup of tea, right? But unless that's the case, then it's all you're doing, then if you don't think that, then what you have to agree to is that MicroStrategy is accumulating people's money right now while Bitcoin is low. If you think that the Bitcoin price is low and that it'll be higher in 1, 2, 3, 5 years, right? And you don't see a prolonged extreme decrease, then all MSTR is doing is adding a whole bunch of Bitcoin at lower prices than it will be in the future using other people's money. And that's a huge deal. That's so massive. It's almost impossible to overstate how big of a deal that is, because the more they accumulate at these prices, they're gonna 10x. Let's say Bitcoin goes to 1 million by 2030. That would 10x their holdings of Bitcoin now, which they continue to increase, right? So, and like I've said a million times, if that does happen, if Bitcoin goes to 1 million, yeah, you can hold on to Bitcoin. That'd be great. But buy Bitcoin if you want to, But at the end of the day, the Bitcoin treasury companies that are worth something, that people value for their business model, their leadership team, their future guidance, these types of ideas, like those ones are going to trade with a premium just like they do today, right? So like today's premium on a MicroStrategy is 1.3, 1.2 times their Bitcoin holdings, right? And their liabilities, their debt is so low compared to their assets. It's almost pointless to talk about. Like I said, Bitcoin has to go to like 10 or 15K for like a year before they have to even start paying back a little bit, right? Or like before they have to start like selling off a little bit of their Bitcoin stash. So it's just cool, you know. I'm cool with the volatility. I don't have my entire account in MSTR. I've talked about it many times. But so I'm cool with the volatility, and when it goes down heavily like this, I just buy more, you know. And I never get myself to the point where I'm like have too much MicroStrategy that I can't stand it, right? That I can't sleep at night, right? My largest position, I've said many times on this channel, is Tesla, right? But I do think that Tesla and MicroStrategy, both those companies, are going to be two of the largest companies in the entire world. And debate me in the comment section below if you disagree with me, or let me know in the comment section below if you agree and what your price target is for MSTR. Or if you want to let me know what your price target is for Tesla, go ahead and do that too. But it's like, I just wake up every day with such happiness, you know? And it's weird to get so much happiness from your stock portfolio, but at the same time, I worked so hard, you know, to get all this money that I earned, right? Because I'm not a Nepo baby. Every dollar I've ever made I made on my own, right? And every dollar I've ever invested has been taxed. I've had to work for it, then it's gotten taxed, and then I've had to pay my bills. And whatever's left over, I'm able to purchase, you know, assets with, right? And, you know, I've also got a retirement account. Well, most of us have 401ks or IRAs or something, you know. But what I'm getting at is it's just like, now that I'm 31, I've been in the market for 10 years, right? I've got a decent net worth, way more than I had when I was 21, you know, like 21, I was broke, right? Here I am at 31, I've got a 6-figure net worth, you know, and I'm just really excited for the future, you know. It's so cool to see your portfolio, you know, especially go up, but really just kind of like go up and down on a daily basis, even more than like what you make on that daily basis, or even like a weekly basis, or 2 weeks. I'm an aerospace engineer, so I get paid decently, but like when you've got 6 figures in the stock market, multiple, you know, yeah, when you have 6 figures, it's like just a 1% moves a G, 2% moves 2 Gs. So yeah, not to waste your time with basic math on this channel, but my point is that I think MicroStrategy could be one of the biggest companies in the world, and I sincerely believe that. Like, with, I don't know what their Bitcoin holdings are now that Bitcoin's 100K, but I imagine it's between 60 and 70 billion dollars, right? So at 100K, it's literally an exact 10x to a million per Bitcoin, right? Which would mean they would have 600 to 700 billion dollars on the balance sheet, far eclipsing any other company in the entire world. No, that's government money. That's not corporation money, right? The largest treasuries of any sort in the world is like Google and Apple, Microsoft, right? And they have about 100 billion. So this is even 6 or 7x what Google and Apple and Microsoft are doing, and they don't provide a consumer product, right? They don't have to, like, you know, let's say if something happened to like Google or Microsoft's buildings, every building they have, it burns up, right? They can't make any more profit. They're gonna have to change their entire business model. Like, that doesn't happen with MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has no risk other than the risk to Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin gets demolished, okay, then MicroStrategy's done, right? But really, what percentage chance do you give that Bitcoin will go to 10 or 15K for over a year? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about that. What do you think? Obviously, it's a non-zero chance that Bitcoin could go to 10 or 15K for a year. But what is that chance? It's non-zero, but is it 1%, 2%, 5%, 50%? Tell me what you guys think below. Because I think it's very low. I think it's in the single digits, and I think it's close to 1%, right? Because I think you're going to have a whole bunch of people that are in these Mag 7 stocks that are going to be like, Bitcoin's at 50K, 60K. I've said many times on the channel, I think Bitcoin's floor is like 90K. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 80K, 70K, 60K, 50K. I don't know. My personal opinion, I think anything 90K or below, you're going to have people selling out of the Mag 7 and other, you know, big, large cap names selling and buying, you know, a flyer on Bitcoin, you know, because why not, right? Historically, it's giving you 99% CAGR every year, right? So That's my point. I think the bottom in Bitcoin is basically in. Could be wrong. That's just my personal humble opinion from a guy on YouTube, right? And yeah, whole point of the video was, you know, one of the most notorious short sellers in the world has stopped shorting MSTR. It's probably a good idea too, because it's really, really, really low. It looks like it's primed for a short squeeze. And yeah, it just happens to be on the same exact day that JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon say, hey, we've increased our Bitcoin exposure by 64%. And we believe Bitcoin could be 200K in 6 months. That's a 2x in 6 months. You want to beat the market a little bit. That'll do it. That'll do her, you know? So it's like, yeah. Let me know your price targets for Bitcoin down below, guys. And if you made it this far, almost 16 minutes in, what are you doing? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you got to subscribe. We bring breaking news, like I said, about MSTR, crypto, Tesla, AI, robotics, all that kind of stuff. And we love it on this channel. We love debating topics. We love free speech on this channel. So let me know what your thoughts are on anything that I discussed in this video down below, and we can have a little discussion. I reply to almost every comment. So thank you guys for your time. Have yourself a great weekend.